Welcome to the deep dive. We're surrounded by instant connection, right? Digital tools changing everything, politics shifting because something goes viral online. But what if I told you this isn't entirely new? That the tech feels fresh, but the human impulses behind it, they're ancient. That's what we're diving into today. We're connecting the dots, really, from like the very first scribes all the way to the people designing our digital world now. We want to show how this age-old quest for power, for connection, for control, it's still shaping everything around us. So let's get into it. First stop, information. The struggle to control it goes way, way back. Think about Mesopotamia, thousands of years ago. Knowledge was, well, it was slippery, wasn't it? Passed person to person, easily lost or twisted. Then boom, writing. Cuneiform on clay tablets. That must have felt like a superpower, right? Suddenly, ideas could stick around.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just sticking around. It was a fundamental change in, the nature of knowledge itself. It wasn't just record keeping. Ideas became permanent. Verifiable, you could scale them up.
Scale them up. How so?
Well, think about complex laws. You can't just remember all those details accurately across a whole kingdom. Or detailed taxes for big economies. Writing lets you codify all that. Religious texts, political commands. It moves society beyond just what one person, or even a group, can reliably remember.
Right. It built a kind of shared external memory.
Exactly. And that enabled the first big centralized states, bureaucracies. It's fascinating how immediate that link was. Writing is power. Those little wedge marks meant laws weren't just spoken, they were written. Decrees could travel.
And whoever controlled the scribes.
They controlled the official story. Standardizing laws, yeah, but also tracking taxes meticulously, spreading their ideology. They built empires with ideas, not just bricks and mortar.
That makes me think of the Rosetta Stone. We see it in museums, this amazing artifact. But it was more than just a decoding key, wasn't it?
Way more. It wasn't just translation. It unlocked how Egyptian society actually worked for centuries. All that complex government, the political power, it showed just how deeply writing was woven into the fabric of their civilization, letting them manage complexity over long periods.
So that immediate translation of a new tech into a power tool.
Yeah.
Does that mean new technologies always create this kind of vulnerability where control is suddenly, up for grabs?
That's a really sharp question. I think it often does, yes. There's a period of adaptation where the old ways of controlling information don't quite work on the new medium.
Interesting. Okay, let's jump forward, way forward. 15th century, Gutenberg. The printing press, people call it the internet of its time. Why does that comparison stick?
It sticks because it did something similar to the internet. It absolutely shattered the existing limits on accessing information. It democratized it. Before Gutenberg, books were hand-copied, slow, expensive, mostly held in monasteries, royal courts. Very exclusive.
Locked away.
Exactly, the printing press. Suddenly you could copy things exponentially faster and cheaper. Knowledge started to, leak out. Everywhere.
And the impact.
Huge. It wasn't just about printing more Bibles, though that was massive. It fueled the Renaissance, the Reformation, the Enlightenment. Ideas could suddenly spread like wildfire, go viral, to use our terms. Pamphlets, books, they became tools, even weapons, in political and religious fights. Directly challenging the Pope, challenging kings.
Right. So you've got this pattern. A tech breakthrough shatters old controls, reshapes power. How closely does that mirror social media today? Are they basically the same phenomenon, just faster?
In many ways, yes, they're two sides of the same coin. Disseminating information, sparking movements, a viral tweet igniting a protest. It's the modern echo of a printed pamphlet stirring rebellions centuries ago. You look at something like the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
Social media was instrumental there. People organizing, sharing information super fast, challenging autocratic regimes. It's that same principle, empowering dissent.
But it's not exactly the same, is it?
No, definitely not. The speed, the global reach, that's on a whole different level now. And then there's the algorithmic side of things.
The algorithms.
The curation.
Right. That adds layers of complexity Gutenberg couldn't have dreamed of. It raises that question you touched on earlier.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin, control. Ancient rulers controlled scribes. Censors banned books from the printing press. Today, the battle for control looks different.
How so?
Algorithms curate what we see, these personalized feeds. They can create filter bubbles, echo chambers, sometimes without us even realizing it.
So the control is maybe less obvious.
Often, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a more subtle kind of narrative shaping. It's not just about what gets banned, but whose reality gets amplified, whose gets suppressed, all driven by code we don't see.
Yeah, that's a chilling thought, actually.
Hmm.
Is it more insidious because it's less direct than, say, an ancient king just banning something? I'd argue it often is. It's less overt. Ancient censorship was usually pretty clear. You can't read this. Today, content might just fade away, get deprioritized by the algorithm. It might not be shown to certain people. And we don't always know why. The control shifts from, like, top-down orders to these fluid, data-driven systems nudging our perception.
Okay, so we've traced how ideas and narratives became tools of power, shaped by technology. But ideas need pathways, right? They rely on physical stuff to spread and have force. What about infrastructure in the ancient world?
Spot on. Ancient empires knew this instinctively. Controlling the narrative was one thing, but you had to control the pathways too. For the narrative, for armies, for trade, for power itself.
Like the Roman roads.
Exactly like the Roman roads. That network wasn't just for getting wagons from A to B. It was the empire's backbone, moving legions quickly, projecting power, making sure a decree from Rome meant something in distant Britain or Syria.
And it wasn't just roads. You mentioned aqueducts earlier.
Yeah. Aqueducts weren't just about water, though obviously that was crucial. They were monuments. They showed Roman power, Roman ingenuity. They transformed cities, made life better, secured loyalty. They were infrastructure as propaganda almost.
Infrastructure is propaganda. I like that. So how does that ancient reality map onto our world, our digital world?
The parallels are incredibly direct, actually. Our infrastructure today is digital, but the function, very similar. The internet, all those fiber optic cables snaking across ocean floors, the satellites whizzing overhead, that's our Roman road system.
Okay.
And access to that infrastructure. That's now a massive determinant of economic success, political influence, everything.
So when we talk about the digital divide,
It's not just about some people having slower internet. It's a profound inequality. It directly mirrors history. Those places connected to the trade routes thrive, those cut off didn't. Same principle, new tech. Isolation from the network is isolation from power and opportunity.
and this infrastructure, ancient or modern, it enables something else too. Surveillance,
Yeah.
watching people. Ancient rulers had spies, informants.
They absolutely did. Networks of eyes and ears. But what technology allows today? It's a different galaxy of surveillance.
How so? What's the leap?
Think facial recognition everywhere. Think data mining, not just what you buy, but your search history, where your phone goes, who you talk to online. It's passive collection on a massive scale. This creates this unbelievably rich picture of individuals and populations. It enables things like predictive policing, analyzing mass behavior. A Roman emperor might have dreamt of knowing what people were saying in the marketplace. We generate that data constantly, often without thinking.
So ancient rulers used active human intelligence,
Hmm.
mostly. Today, it's often automated, pervasive,
Yeah.
just happening in the background.
Exactly, and that shifts the power balance enormously. It demands we rethink what privacy even means.
Which brings us back to that core tension, doesn't it? Security versus liberty, control versus freedom. It's the same struggle, just playing out with tools that amplify the state side incredibly.
It absolutely is. That tension over privacy today isn't new, but the scale and the intimacy of the potential intrusion are unprecedented. And ancient citizens might worry about a nosy neighbor or a guard. We worry about unseen algorithms processing literally every digital interaction.
Wow.
The sheer volume and detail of data changes the game. It makes that age-old debate about security and liberty far more complex, far more urgent.
So wrapping this up, as we navigate our world, this hyper-connected, data-driven world, it's just crucial to remember. We're walking a path others have walked before in different ways. The tech is shiny and new, but the human stuff,
Huh?
the power plays, the spread of ideas, building control, these are ancient echoes.
You're right. And understanding that history, seeing those patterns, it gives us perspective. It helps us ask better questions about the tools we're building and using now. It lets us be a bit more conscious, hopefully, about the future we're creating, understanding these deep currents from the past.
So maybe the thought to leave you, our listener, with is this. Where do you see these echoes? In your own life, in the news, and how technology shapes your world, your community, your politics? What really stands out to you from this deep dive?